This slideshow is going to go through the ins and outs of how things work in Mrs. Grant's class. First off, there's some materials and supplies that you need to have with you. Every day, you need to bring a writing utensil. You need to bring your Chromebook, charged and ready to go. You need your history textbook once you get it. I know those haven't been signed out to you yet, but they will be sometime in the next week or so. And then you need a dedicated space for your history papers and some paper or a dedicated space in a notebook for history notes that you will take or work that you will do. Those last two, your space for your papers and your paper and place where you're going to keep history notes, these should be for only history. So, maybe your red spiral notebook and your red folder are for history. Or maybe your red folder and the second section of your 5-subject notebook are for history. But you shouldn't have history stuff mixed in with math stuff, science stuff, English stuff, Spanish stuff, tech ed stuff, everything else. Keep a dedicated space for these papers. Now, what if you forget some of these items on a given day? Well, first off, 50 lashes with a wet noodle for you. You got to build those habits and get yourself organized. But, of course, we have some backup systems because we all forget some things sometimes. So, if you forget a writing utensil, there are a couple of options in my room. Number one is on the side counter, there's a pink cup. Sometimes it has writing utensils in it and sometimes it doesn't. If it has some in it, you're welcome to take them. You can take them out of my class. You can use them the whole rest of the day, whatever you need to do. I refill that pink cup with pencils and pens that I find on the floor or left behind in desks or things like that. So I'm happy to pass them on to people who need them. If there's nothing in the pink cup, or if you prefer not to use that stuff, there is a blue box of pencils up front in the room. Those have masking tape numbers on them, and the box has numbers. Those are only to use in my room, and they need to all be returned by the end of the hour. But either way, pink cup or blue box, you can get something to write with. If you forget your Chromebook, now I only have one, but I do have a desktop computer on the counter in my room, so that's available for somebody if they need it. Or maybe you have your Chromebook with you, but it needs to charge. This could be especially true if you're in a later block, but you put it on the charging card as soon as you come into class. At least it can get a little oomph before you need to use it during the hour. Or bring it into my room before enrichment class, or bring it into my room at the beginning of lunch and let it sit on the charging cart until your class starts. That's all well and welcome to do. But if it's during class and your Chromebook isn't charged and I say get them out, we need to use them, and you have your charger with you or one from the library, there are power strips and outlets around in many places in the room. There's a power strip underneath the table that I use for the document camera. There's a power strip over by the side counter in the room. There's a power strip by the wall between my room and Mrs. Fike's room. And there's a power strip up front near where the charging cart will be. There's also, like right under the whiteboard, there's also just not a power strip, but a regular single outlet in the floor near the wall between my room and Mrs. Burgess's room. That's not as handy or easy to get to, but it's there if we need it. What if you forget your history textbook on a given day and we use them? I have 2 copies of the history textbook in my room. They're on a brown bookshelf up front. You're welcome to borrow those. If you forget to bring paper and we need to do some history work, there is always one-sided scrap paper in a tray on my side counter. I do not give out lined paper for work during the hour, so if you want to have lined paper, you need to be sure to bring your own, but you're always welcome to one-sided scrap, and it doesn't bother me one bit if you do your work on that scrap. I'd rather see that paper, us get a full use out of it before it hits the recycle bin, so I'm happy to accept your work on that scrap paper. Other materials that are around the room for you to make use of. On that side counter, the same place where the pink cup for pencils to borrow or where the tray of one-sided scrap is, there's also a stapler, there's clear tape, there are pencil sharpeners, there's an eraser that you can borrow and return. All of that stuff is over there. Just help yourself anytime you need it. Tissues and hand sanitizer are also over on that counter. If you ever use the last tissue or notice we're out of hand sanitizer, please let me know. Sometimes I don't notice right away, and then the next person who needs it, it's not out there for them, but I can always go grab another box or whatever when we run out. Okay. There are clipboards and lab desks. They are in the center lower cupboard underneath the counter. Those might come in handy if you're ever sitting on the floor to work, you're sitting on the couch to work, anything like that. You're welcome to just go get one. Just make sure they're put back at the end of the hour. And then headphones. If you find that we're in need of headphones during class and you don't have any, there is a tub under my whiteboard. There's a white bookshelf kind of off to the left, almost behind where my table with the document camera is, but you can come up and get some out of that tub. Now you'll see that my headphones in the tub are inside plastic bags. Keep track of the plastic bags and put your headphones back in the plastic bag before you put them back in the tub. That keeps the cords from getting all tangled. And just makes it easier for the next person to get what they need, and it makes it so things don't break. Okay, you're welcome to all of that stuff. It's all out or accessible to you, or you're welcome to get in that center cupboard for a lap desk or whatever. The one thing I do ask is that you don't go into any of my other cupboards without permission, and that you don't borrow things off of my desks. Don't pick up a pen that you see laying out on my teacher desk or something like that. A little note on headphones or earbuds. We'll only use them in history class if I've asked you to watch a video. Otherwise, we're not going to use them. If it's work time, it's work time. We're not going to have them out when you're working on an assignment. I know that some teachers may allow you to have music going on your phone or on your laptop or whatever, but I don't. So unless you're watching a video, meaning we as a class have been assigned to watch a video, there are no headphones or earbuds out in my classroom. Seats. All right, so you will have assigned seats, at least for a good long stretch in the beginning of the year. And you need to be in your assigned seat at the start of class for me to take attendance. The exceptions would be if you are going to choose to sit on a floor chair or on a floor pillow, or if it's your day to sit on the couch, which I'll explain about in a minute. If you're using floor chairs or pillows, you need to use them up front in the area in front of the couch. So it's not that you're going to use a floor chair because you want to take it over and sit near where your friend's desk is. It's because you want to sit on the floor, and you can do that up front, okay? So outside of sitting on the floor or it being your day for the couch, you need to be in your assigned seat every day. Until I tell you, go ahead and find a comfortable space to work. Then you are, in fact, welcome to move around the room at that point, but that would be later in the hour, okay? The couch. One person each hour, each day, will be their day for the couch. Who that is will be posted on the side cupboard. Now, I don't have this system up and running yet, but I'll get it going soon, and you'll see there is a place for the names to go up on the cupboard right now. It's just been blank, but it says couch. If it is your couch day, you come in one day, you see your name up there, you and 1 to 3 friends may sit on the couch during the hour. If you don't want anybody to sit on the couch with you, or you don't want to share the couch, that's fine. You can sit there by yourself. If you do invite friends and the talking between you all or other distractions become an issue, then I'll send the friends back to their seats and you may stay on the couch. If you don't want the couch on your couch day, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to sit on it if you don't want to. That just means it will stay empty for that day. So don't ask somebody, hey, I see it's your couch day. Can I sit on the couch? They will either invite you to sit on the couch with them, or the couch will not be used that day. Okay? The one thing you can tell me regarding the couch is if you notice that somebody is absent and it's their day for the couch, let me know and I'll switch it out for somebody who's present that day. All right, swapping chairs. Now, there are a number of different kinds of chairs in my room, you've probably noticed. For the most part, they are first come, first serve. So if you get into class and you want the green yoga ball, that's fine. You can take it and sit on it. The one exception is chair of choice. This will also be posted on the side cupboard right near where the couch person's posted. It will be one person's name again each hour, each day. If you have chair of choice, that means you get whichever chair you want that day, even if somebody else already has it. So if you want to use the blue spinny chair and somebody else is sitting in it, you can just go up to them and say, it's my chair of choice day and I'd like to use that chair, and they need to give you the chair. Okay, now, whenever you're taking a chair, whether it's your chair of choice day or just because you came in first and you don't like the chair that's at your desk and you're swapping it out, make sure you always exchange chairs. So the chair that's at your desk, take it to the place that you're getting the chair you want from. Don't just get the chair you want and then shove the chair you don't want out into the middle of the room or the middle of a walkway or an aisleway. Every chair has a desk or table. There's space for every chair at a desk or table in my room, so make sure that you make the exchange, okay? There are two chairs in the room that you may not choose even on your chair of choice day. That's the blue yoga ball that is up by my desk. That is my desk chair. And then there's a tall black chair on wheels behind where I work at the document camera. Those are only for me, but everything else is open to you. Okay, if you don't want a chair, there are right inside as you come into the classroom, there are 4 desktop podiums or lecterns they're called. They don't look quite like the one in the picture here. They're kind of a beige metal kind of color. But anyway, if you grab one of those, they're not heavy at all, or ask me if you need help, and plunk it on top of your desk. It's a pretty good height to stand at and work. So feel free to do that as well if you just get tired of sitting or need to stand. If you want to stand and it's not a time when you need a desktop, maybe I'm talking to the class and you're just listening, feel free to just stand up somewhere around the outside edges of the room so you're not in people's line of vision. It's no problem for me. Okay? At the end of the hour, you're going to put floor chairs and pillows back where they came from. You're going to push all other chairs in. That goes back to that every chair has a desk or table space. There's enough for all of them, so make sure your chairs get back to desks or tables. All right, desks. My desks are a little different than the desks in most of the classrooms. They have that space that you can tuck items into while you're in class. That's great. That's what it's meant for. Please do not leave trash or loose papers, recycling, that kind of stuff inside the desk. It's just nasty, right? So the next person who comes wants the desk to be empty and available for them to use. So make sure you take everything out, including things you may need to drop off at the trash or recycling bin at the end of the hour. And of course, don't draw or color on the tops of the desks either. Food and drink in my room. I'm happy to have you have drinks with you. They do need to be clear. We're in carpeted rooms. I don't want to be picking up or trying to clean up, hot chocolate or red fruit punch or something that was spilled on the carpeting. So clear beverages like flavored water or whatever, that's fine, but it does need to be clear. And it needs to be in a container that has a lid. So some kind of water bottle, flip straw, screw-on cap, whatever it is, but it has to be able to have a lid put on it, okay? Food, I don't want in my classroom at all. You're welcome to eat in the hall at your lockers. Just make sure you wash your hands afterwards. We do have students on our team with a whole variety of allergies, not just to nuts, but all sorts of different foods that you might not know or think of as being a problem for folks. So just make sure you wash your hands, have your snack during passing time, wash your hands, come on into class. don't bring the food in with you. Passes for the restroom, drinking fountain, things like that. First off, please make sure you're asking to go at an appropriate time. And there's a number of things that make a time appropriate. First off, you shouldn't need to go to the restroom within the first 30 minutes or so of getting to class. You just had passing time. Part of what you need to do with passing time is use it wisely. Even if you think you maybe don't have to go to the bathroom, go in the restroom and try anyway. So you shouldn't need to go. That would be particularly true after lunch. Make sure you go sometime near the end of the lunch hour or on your way up to class after lunch so that you can make it through the first stretch of class, since that's often when I will be working with you, instructing, etc. Once I've gotten through those pieces and we get to independent work time, that would be a good time to ask to use the restroom, okay? Please don't raise your hand and interrupt when I'm talking to the whole class in order to ask if you can go to the restroom. If you have to raise your hand and interrupt something that I'm saying to the whole class, it's not a good time. So you would only do that if it really, truly, 100% was a dire emergency. Okay. Also, trips to the restroom and drinking fountain are not entertainment. They're things that you might need in order to take care of your bodily needs, but not like, hey, I'm done with my work and I need to just, feel like wandering around. So can I go? No, that's not what the restroom and drinking fountain are for. Okay. You will notice that especially on test days, I will not allow passes during tests at all. You will need to go before the hour begins, and you'll need to wait through the hour before, until the hour ends before you would go to the restroom again, because people finish the test and they've been sitting and concentrating and they just want to walk around. And while that's fine and understandable, it becomes a train of people going to the restroom, and it's really distracting to people who are still trying to work. Okay, when you do find a good time to go, though, and it's independent work time, there's a clipboard up front. You're going to need to fill out the line, and then there's a hanging pass. It doesn't look quite like the one in this picture, this nice blue hall pass one. Mine is a green Seriously Dexter lanyard with a yellow Mill Creek keychain on it, but you need to take the pass with you. That's a visual cue to me that somebody is out of the room. You would also sign out if you needed to go to the library or the office or something like that. In addition to the restroom and drinking fountain, and the sign out procedure is the same. The clipboard's up in the front of the room. I do have a lost and found. It's actually the bookshelf that's outside my classroom door. You might have wondered why there's a mostly empty bookshelf out there right now. It will not stay mostly empty for very long typically. So I use the bookshelf so that I can spread items out, and I put it outside my classroom door so that even if I've left for the day or my door's locked for some reason, you can still take a look through. Anything I find left in the room, I'll put there. Now that being said, I don't look through every desk every hour. So, you may come back later in the day and ask if I've seen a blue notebook. If you left it inside of one of the desks, it might still be inside one of the desks. So you may need to look around in the room as well. All right, homework. How do you know what is assigned? If you haven't noticed yet, on the right side of my front board is where I list the homework for the day. It's boxed off in blue masking tape. It says homework up above it in big capital letters. There's also an online homework calendar, and if we haven't shown that to you yet, we'll show that to you soon. That's where the homework for all of your core classes is posted. So those are places where you can check to know what you need to do each night. When you're ready to turn things in for history, if it's a Google Classroom assignment, just make sure you hit submit so it gets turned in online. Sometimes people finish the assignment, but they don't actually hit submit, so it doesn't let me know that you're done. Or if we're working on paper, on the side counter, the same place where the stapler and the pencil sharpeners and the scrap paper and the tissues are, there's a stack of trays over there, and you'll look for the one for your class. They're labeled A1 history, A2 history, etc. So you'll look for the one for your class and you'll turn things in there. Now, what if you're absent? How are you going to know what to do? I put pretty detailed information on the homework calendar. So if you're home, sick, or whatever, or you're out of town, but you're capable of getting online, that would be the first place to check. You're also always welcome to email me. You're welcome to email friends too, but I would caution you that sometimes you don't get the whole story when you email friends, or sometimes I might give you an alternate thing to do instead of what we did in class, just because it's an easier thing to do not having been there. So I would say if the homework calendar doesn't cover it for you, email me and find out what you missed. Or you can stop by when you return to school and ask. But if you want to look from home, those would be the places. Once you've finished that work and you're coming to turn it in, um, obviously in Google Classroom, you're just going to submit it online, and that would be true if you were turning in work late as well. You would just go ahead and hit submit, and Google Classroom sends me an email to let me know that you've turned something in late. Okay? If you're turning in a paper task, and you're turning it in late, either because you didn't get it done on time or because you were absent, you will still turn it into the trays on the side counter, but you'll turn it into the top tray instead of your class tray. So that's a way of indicating to me, hey, Mrs. Grant, I'm turning something in, but it's not being turned in on the same day or at the same time that the rest of the class turned in this piece of paper. If you are absent, you can just write absent on the top. If it's just late, you can write late on top. Put it in that top tray. The tray is labeled absent and late work, or redo work would go in that top tray as well. All right, I would encourage you to stop by after taking your notes on this presentation, or the next time you come into my room, to kind of look around and see if you can locate all of this stuff. Do you see the turn-in trays? Do you see the homework board? Do you see where the headphones are? Do you see where the floor pillows and the chairs are that you can use? Do you see where I post who has chair of choice and couch? Can you find all of this stuff in my room? If after doing that you still have any questions, just please come ask. If you're one of those people who's a little nervous to talk to me, then shoot me an email and we'll get things worked out.